Over the past 4 years that I've been doing keto and intermittent fasting, I've heard time and time again when I try to tell people about it that it's too hard or it's too restrictive. Well, I'm going to tell you today why it's not as hard or restrictive as you think it is.
Oh, no, I can't do that. That's too restrictive, man. I can't do that. I can't have bread? Oh, I can't do that. I'm sorry. No bread, no pasta? If I ate like that, I would be craving so much stuff. I just can't do it.
Over time, as you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, a lot of the cravings that you think you're going to be having, which you will have at first, don't get me wrong, but they will go away with time. And there's a lot of different substitutes for things that you love to eat now that aren't keto.
I would be way too hungry if I ate like that. I just can't do it.
To avoid being hungry while you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, that's a very simple thing to avoid. All you gotta do is just add more fat with each meal so that you can get from meal to meal without being ravenously hungry.
But what about my pizza and my mac and cheese and bread and my waffles? What about that stuff, man?
If you're a starch lover, I've got good news for you. Now, this may sound generic, but cauliflower can be made into all kinds of different things. You've got the pizza crust that can be made out of it. You can make something like mac and cheese, which I've made before and is very good. Trust me, it is if you make it right. But besides cauliflower, there's also a lot of other different keto approved things that you can substitute in and make these different starchy foods, or a version of these starchy foods, that are still almost, if not, just as good.
Okay, so I've started keto and intermittent fasting now, but I just don't know what to eat, man. Every time it comes time for me to eat, I'm just stumped.
So obviously, meal planning is going to make things a lot easier, but more specifically, keeping it simple at first. Finding something easy that you can stick to for a while. Here's something. For example, let's say on your first of your 2 meals. Let's say you eat lunch and dinner. For lunch, you could have 4 eggs, some bacon, and then some nuts. And with the bacon and nuts, just have as much as you want until you're satisfied. And you know you can get to dinner without having a snack. And then dinner time rolls around, you could have something like a fattier cut of chicken, like chicken thighs, chicken legs, or chicken wings. You could have a small salad, and then once again you could have some nuts or some kind of nut butter. Those are things that most people like, and they're easy to make.
So is one or the other easier to start on first and then transition into the other one?
Starting this off by just doing intermittent fasting first is going to make it a lot easier for you to go on to keto. So I'd recommend just starting with the 3 meals a day and then slowly transition into the 2, and during that time still have whatever you want. And then once you're comfortable with just 2 meals a day, then you can start transitioning into the keto and adding it in with the intermittent fasting. The next thing that is going to make things a lot easier on you when you're getting into keto and intermittent fasting is getting all the junk food out of the house. So get it off the counters, the candy dishes, the sweets laying out in open sight all over. Get rid of those, whether you want to have one last hurrah and eat all of it up. Clear it out, and then when you go on your next grocery trip, you can fill the house full of keto approved stuff. Because having stuff that's not keto approved laying around is just going to be temptation right in your face. You could even order your food offline from certain companies. There's a lot of different services that have a lot of keto approved stuff. Like you have Thrive Market, the Keto Box, the Keto Crate. There's a lot of different ones. I'll put some links in the description for some of the ones that I personally use and I like. But you can get online and look these up, and there's just a ton of them to choose from. And a lot of times you'll find the same stuff from these services, and it'll be cheaper than what you would pay for in a supermarket, and it's delivered right to your doorstep. The biggest thing that is going to make this easier, which I hit on a little bit earlier, is cutting out the snacking. Because when you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, you obviously want to get to those 2 meals a day with no snacks. If you're still hungry and you're having a hard time getting from meal to meal, like I said earlier, just add more fat with each of the meals so that you can make it to each one easier. Snacking is going to hold you back, and it's going to make those cravings a lot harder to get rid of. Guys, I really hope this helped, and if it did, make sure that you tickle that like button. Keep it keto, keep it healthy, and I'll see y'all in the next video.